I'm Jocelyn Andersen with Hungry Hearts Ministries. Today we're looking at Revelation chapter 2, reading from verse 14. But I have a few things against thee, because thou hast there them that hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed unto idols, and to commit fornication. Let's look at what this doctrine of Balaam is that the church at Pergamos still had and still was holding to. And you know, the message to these churches actually was a message to churches that existed in the time of John, but I believe they also project even more so to the churches that will be in existence in the last days, very close to the coming of Jesus Christ. I believe these messages are talking to the church of today. Each church in the Revelation had different issues that they were dealing with, and I believe they were representative of the issues that Christians throughout the ages would be dealing with from some degree, to some degree or another, but even more so the last day church, the end time church. And we'll be looking at scriptures that will verify that there are things to take place in the latter day, in the latter times, that were future when John wrote them and are still future today, because as we will see, they have not been fulfilled in their entirety. And so it's interesting to look at what Jesus was saying to the church at Pergamos about the doctrine of Balaam. You know, we're seeing the doctrine of Balaam in the church today to an alarming degree. Balaam was that prophet who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel. He taught them to eat things sacrificed to idols and to commit fornication. You know, fornication in the Bible is not always referring to sexual sin. There are many cases where fornication and adultery are referring to a very serious spiritual sin that will cause us and can cause us to lose our souls. You know, the book of 2 Thessalonians, Paul was very specific that if we did not receive a love of the truth, we would be given over to believe the lie, and that will bring death. A love of the truth brings life and salvation, that we might be saved. We're sanctified through belief of the truth and the Spirit of God. So we cannot discount truth. Oh my, the doctrine of Balaam. You know, we looked yesterday at the good doctrine. We're going to look at that again, just briefly today, that Paul taught Timothy. That was very good. Paul said about the good doctrine that from a child thou hast known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith, which is in Christ Jesus. We're going to look at that verse again in a moment. But Paul encouraged Timothy to continue in the things that he had heard. That was the teachings of Paul, the doctrines of Paul, the counsel of Paul. All of those words can mean, doctrine can mean teachings or counsel. Doctrine, just good teachings. What is the doctrine of Balaam? Well, let's take a quick look at Numbers chapter 31. Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. You know, Balak hired this prophet Balaam to curse the children of Israel, because God was blessing them. The nations in the promised land, on the way to the promised land, were afraid of the children of Israel because they saw their God was with them. So this king hires this prophet Balaam to curse the children of Israel. Well, the Lord would not allow Balaam to curse the children of Israel, so he was obedient in that fact that he didn't curse them. In fact, he even blessed them. But this prophet was lusting after money so badly that he was looking for a way to get around the commandment not to curse these people, but to bless them instead. And to bring harm to these people because he wanted to please the king. He wanted to please Balaam. He wanted that money. He wanted the rewards of divination. You know, divination has its rewards. People are always wanting, seeking a power higher than themselves, so to speak. It's just a shame that we're not seeking the power, the true power of the true God. There is only one God. There is only one way to the one God. Yet, we constantly seek ways around that. You know, we seek that broad path instead of the narrow way, the steep way that Jesus said he was the only way. His words were exclusive. His words are spirit. They are life. They're recorded in this Bible. But this prophet wanted the rewards of divination. So he wanted to find a way around the narrow way and the steep way that leads to life. So he chose the broad way, and he said, obviously he gave counsel to this king, listen, let your people mingle with the children of Israel. Let your sons and your daughters marry them. Introduce your ways to them. In this manner they will be corrupted from serving their God, and they will lose his blessing. Obviously, this prophet gave the king this counsel because he said these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord. You know, Solomon was commanded, all of the kings of Israel, as a matter of fact, were commanded, do not multiply wives to yourself. Well, they didn't listen, most of them. David didn't listen. Solomon didn't listen. But, you know, David served the Lord his whole life in spite of this plethora of wives that he had. In disobedience to the Lord caused him a lot of trouble. You can read about that in the Kings, the Chronicles. Okay? Solomon, his son, however, suffered some real devastation from disobedience to the Lord. Go ahead and study that for yourself. Possibly the Lord will tarry long enough for us to get to that, but at the rate we're going, it's going to take a while. However, mingling with the world has its devastations. Now, do we completely avoid everyone that's not like us, that's not saved, that doesn't worship like we do? No, of course not. We're not told to be intolerant of people. We're not told to hate people. But you know, this Bible is an intolerant book, and we are told to avoid all doctrines that are not found in the Bible. We are told to serve the Lord our God and Him only. We're told that in the last days God's people would not endure sound doctrine, but Paul told Timothy that his doctrine was good. You know, Micah told God's people, remember how now what Balak, king of Moab, consulted, and what Balaam, the son of Beor, answered him. Balaam answered him, let your people mix, let your people mingle. And in that way he caused God's people to stumble. And Jesus was telling the church at Pergamos, and he's speaking to us too. I have a few things against thee, because thou hast there them that hold the doctrine of Balaam. Let's put away that doctrine of Balaam. Let's seek to only follow the doctrine we find in the Bible.